we met, we were introduced to Nearpod, and everybody played the role of the student. So you guys were able to log in, and you were able to see lots of different kinds of question types. In order for us to really integrate this into our math curriculum, though, you guys need experience being the teacher. So today we're going to kind of pair up, work together as both the teacher and the student for presentations. So that's our objective today. You're going to use Nearpod as a teacher and a student, and then kind of reflect upon what's the difference. How does it feel to be a student? How does it feel to be a teacher? So here's what we're going to do. It's going to be really easy because there's not many of us. So Kylan and Christina, since you guys are both intermediate, working together as a team, one will be hamburger, one will be hot dog. So Kylan, I'm going to call you hamburger. You're going to be hot dog today. Natasha, you and I will work together. One of you guys will be the student first, and one of you will be the teacher. So Kylan, since you're a hamburger, you are going to be the student first, okay? And Christina, since you are the teacher, you are going to be the hot dog. Natasha, I'm going to have you be the teacher too, okay? So hot dogs, what I need you to do is I need you to log into Nearpod as a teacher. In the corner of Nearpod, you're going to have sign up, you're going to have log in next to the sign up button. All right, so hamburgers, this is you. So now Tosh, can you read out loud what your code is for your students to join you?
Students, please, letter D as a dog, B as a boy, R, F, A.
DBRFA is your code. And then remember, when you enter that code, it's going to prompt you to enter your name. We're going to go ahead and just practice the same practice we'll have our students do, which is entering their first name with a capital letter. And then the second line, calling for optional, isn't needed. You can leave blank. And then you hit submit. All right, so now Natasha has full control of your screen. So for Natasha, she's seeing almost something identical, except she has toggles at the bottom that tells her what slide she's looking at, how many people she has joined in her session, and things like, can they view the kind of content that you can see. So Tasha's going to toggle her arrow keys to the next slide. And it's going to open an open-ended question. And that's where you're going to be able to type your response. You can have your question, do you see it up at the top in the top banner? Do you see a little drop arrow in the corner? If you need more space for it to be read to you, you can always drop it down. Like say, for example, she leaves a really long question. This one's short, so it only fits on one line. But say she types a really long question, the students can toggle back and forth to drop down the whole question or then to shorten it once they need more typing room. So whenever you're ready, you can type an answer to that question. You can say something like, again, we're talking about the place value chapter, so place value chart, vertical form, standard algorithm, area model. I'm trying to throw out third grade lingo. Tape diagram, number line. And then submit. For Natasha, what she's seeing is the name that you inputted and then your answers. If she wanted to share this out, she can click on somebody's name. There's a big red button saying share. She also another feature that she has is she's able to view the participation of it. So she's able to see how many of her students answered. So if you had 20 kids log in, but only 19 of it actually fill out the response, you have up in the corner that only 95% of your kids answers, and you can kind of pace yourself to see if you're ready to go. All right? Tosh, whenever you're ready, you can unshare or you can click next, whichever you want to do to move along the lesson. And then you guys have a drawing background image. At this point, because Natasha's your teacher, we're going to go into an exploration phase of everything. Hot dogs. And I really want you guys to, actually, Natasha, you're a hot dog, right? Okay. We're going to go ahead and play a timer and have you guys just explore this lesson together. If you finish early, you have some discussion boards or discussion questions on the board. So hot dogs, how would you gauge your engagement as a student? How would this affect your engagement versus doing a whole group lesson where you're talking or you have a whiteboard? Hamburgers, what kind of data could you collect from this lesson? So hot dogs, what I meant to say is if you are the student, how would you gauge your engagement? Hamburgers, you're going to pretend you're the teacher, what kind of data could you collect? So we're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to work on this lesson together. And then if you finish early, we'll have these sorts of discussion questions in front of you, okay?
I'm gonna type my answer.
So now, Christina and Kylan, you've had experiences being a student, right? So you kind of delved into what would be like for your students to be touching these screens, to be working at it. How do you gauge your engagement? How do you guys feel as far as answering these questions?
I feel pretty engaged, and I also like that it's like at their own pace, and like they're not having to worry about the other kids. Oh, I can see that they're finished. I need to hurry up.
I think that the engagement is good because the lesson is hands-on. They're touching the lesson itself. It's not like they have a whiteboard. They actually get to manipulate things that are in front of them.
And we can also bring in like the physical manipulatives too, and then they're able to type an answer, write an answer, things like that. There's also the sense of accountability, because whenever they have the whiteboard, when it's not facing you, you don't know what they're putting on a whiteboard, versus Natasha's able to see Christina in progress and it's showing everything that she's doing as she's on her screen. So if the kids drawing a turd on their computer, you can see them drawing
Can
a turd
I
on their
write
computer.
something on my computer so they see, like, if they're off task, can I write something on mine to show up on there?
I am not aware of that feature,
I was
but
just
wouldn't
curious.
that be really cool?
Right.
Maybe that's like the silver membership like on yet. What about Tosh, as an educator? I mean, how would you feel data collection wise with this information? You can archive this information and refer back to it later.
Which is really cool. I like the fact that when I'm watching their explanation, there are two different learning styles. One student is typing out and using her words to explain it, and then the other student is showing with actually another picture and another version. So I can see we got two different learners, and one's visual, one's something else. So I think it's really well adapted. And even not having, it's even almost less time I have to do to pull kids aside and actually understand their explaining when I can have access to it right there in front of me. I like that.
So how does this compare to the experience of doing whole group instruction in your classroom right now?
I like that. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I like that it's kind of almost like an exit ticket, to be honest. Like you can see how they're performing right then and there, and know, okay, let me spend a little extra time with this kid, or let me get a jump on it before. Like, because right now my exit tickets are at the end. I'm looking at them after school, after we're ready to move on to the next lesson the next day. Whereas if I'm looking on their screen as to what they're doing, I'm able to catch it.
It gives instant feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's also something that, like, if you do your exit tickets during centers, for example, if you integrated it during that time, you could make this a center where they do the lesson.
Right.
They can self-pace it and then end it with the exit ticket. And then, of course, they're always able to go back to that code if they don't finish it and able to finish up another time that week. I think for myself, the hesitation that I might feel with a program like this is that sometimes math is such a hands-on experience with like manipulatives and writing the numbers. I mean, what would you guys do to help make this experience less like isolating one kid on a computer? How would you invite collaboration into the room if you were using your pod?
I think in this day and age, everybody has some kind of device in their hand, so the kids have to start learning how to collaborate with the device in their hand. Maybe where they can actually see each other's screens. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, so what you can do is you can also make it like a 2-to-1 situation where 2 kids, 1 screen, where you can upload a slide that's split down the middle where they're both showing their work and then submit it, and they can compare strategies, or they take turns doing 1 slide at a time. You can also push out their work and explain, all right, this is what Drayson did, what do you guys think of his work, how do you like his strategy, what worked, what didn't for you, et cetera, et cetera. So there is opportunity for collaboration, absolutely. You have to dig though.
The sharing point, because when you push them off into partners and they're working on a dry erase board or something and you want to share their train of thinking, you have to somehow get it to the point where all of the students can see it. With the share access, you can throw it up there, they can teach it to themselves. And it's still totally usable with manipulatives if they need to touch items
Well,
next to
that's
it.
exactly what I was gonna
Yeah.
say is just because I mean there's a screen in front of you, it doesn't all have to be about the screen. Like bringing in the manipulatives, bringing in like a place value chart, like if they need it like right in front of them.
And I mean, anything that you can do on a whiteboard,
Exactly.
you can do on a drawn tablet.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable tying in a whiteboard and manipulatives,
Exactly.
then you can do the same thing here.
Right.
Except it's easier to pace with all your different learners.
Yeah.
We're going to take a moment, we're going to give somebody else a chance to be a teacher so that they can have that experience. So Tosh, if you wouldn't mind logging out. Yes. Yes. All right. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to start collaborating, which I can even do through my phone because I have access to the Nearpod app. I am now approving you guys to post. So now you have literally what's a digital corkboard in front of you. There's also some features where you can make it a chalkboard, you can make it a bulletin board. And so you have what's on there today is reflecting on our experience today, create a new note, and answer one of the prompts projected on the smart TV. So you can choose whichever bullet point kind of speaks to you the most. Are you more geared towards student engagement or student comprehension and data collection? What's something that you're reflecting upon today with Nearpod? What's your takeaway? Now, before it posts to the digital corkboard, Christina's already submitted. I, as the teacher, have full control of what goes on the corkboard. So I automatically got a notification to my phone saying that I had a pending post. And so it popped up saying, this is what Christina wants to say. Are you comfortable with this being public on your digital corkboard? That way you have some control if you think you have a sporadic kid who's going to post something inappropriate, or if you're afraid of a kid posting a misconception that could then trickle into your other students, you can control the posting. And so I'm going to accept Christina's, and now you can see Christina starting to populate. I'm going to accept Natasha's. I'm going to accept Kylin's. You can even see Natasha's taking a step further. She's added herself a little image in there.
Well, I was about to post a sloth.
You guys, and do you see that you have hearts there? And so if you have students who agree with one another, if you say like, oh yeah, I really enjoy what Tasha's saying, I love that picture she put, you can put a little heart, and so there's some social media engagement too. So you also have like some digital citizenship. Stop cyberbullying.
It's not. They're all hearted.
And so I just want you guys to take away from today not only the experience of being a student and a teacher, but also being able to see some new resources on Nearpod today. So the next time that we will talk, you guys are actually going to be just full-blown Nearpod teachers. You guys are going to be uploading presentations and using the creation tools on Nearpod.